Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're doing something unique on the channel. We're doing a book review, a chess book review. So I've got my glasses on. We've got How to Win a Chess by Levy Rozman, aka GothamChess. And we're going to be looking through his book to see if it is any good or if it is really, really bad. Now, we already did a review for his website, GothamChess, that being his website, Chessly. I have recently learned that he's changed how it works a little bit, so I wasn't able to access all the features. So please go back and have a look and see if there's anything I have missed. But today we're looking at his book, and it is the ultimate beginner guide. Well, the ultimate guide for beginners and beyond. So he basically covers, I think there's an ELO range. Yes, for about 0 to 800, and then for about 800 to 1300. The book is divided into like a beginner section and an intermediate section, which I already think is a plus, because in lots of chess books, they don't really give you sections. They give you information, and like players who are of decent strength will pick up on the ideas and will understand the material, but weaker players may not. So it is always fascinating to see. But we're looking here. Learn from International Master. I'm reading the back. Learn from International Master and YouTube's top chess teacher, Levy Rozman, aka Gotham Chess, in this refreshing and fun guide for beginner and intermediate players. Now, his book did achieve a New York Times bestseller, if I'm not mistaken. But how much of that was because his name is Gotham Chess? How much of that is because this is a fantastic book? Well, just looking at the contents, I'm already impressed. Like, I've had a couple of chess books, I've looked through chess books, I'm not doing this without experience. Firstly, it is a beautiful book. I'm going to have to move my microphone. I don't think I've got enough space here to open it and have it ledged. So I'm just going to... I'm going to have to hold the microphone up like this on the stand. Anyway, he's got a nice little note to his wife. And then we go to the contents page. And I think, look, every chess book is going to have his first chapter, the introduction. So it's got the basics of chess, chess notation, scoring, practicing, and additional learning material. Almost all books will have that, because they rely on them quite frequently, particularly chess annotation. So if you haven't learned chess annotation, there are YouTube videos. I probably will make one in the future on chess annotation, how to read and write chess. But it's just basically, if I say knight to b5, it's so that you understand what I mean. It's moving the knight to the b5 square, etc., how annotation works. And of course, the basics and stuff. Then he's got part 1, or chapter 1, how to literally win at chess. And he talks about all the ways in which you win a chess. I've got a video about it. It's checkmate, resignation, timeout, abandonment. And then he's got summaries. He's got the summaries at the end of every chapter with QR codes. This is probably one of the best books I've seen, because you get content even outside of the book. Like, he's got little QR codes to take you to videos to summarize some of the stuff. He's got chapter summaries. Like in the second book review, because I'm using this book, and I'm using another book to train for Chess Essay Open, but I will probably review other books in the future, drop down recommendations for what I should look at. Not all books have chapter summaries. They'll have it at the beginning, say what this chapter is about, but they don't have a summary at the end to tell you what was really covered in this chapter. So he kind of divides the book into 2 parts. So part 1 is all the concepts, but for beginners, so 0 to 800 ELO approximately. So it's literally how to start the game with white pieces, how to play with the black pieces. He's got endgame 1, endgame 2, and endgame 1's got ladder mate, king and queen mate, king and rook mate, so basic checkmates. Endgame 2's got like solo acts, 2-piece checkmate, and taking checkmate to the next level. So his endgames are not even very theoretical, like we've covered in the last 2 days with the king and pawn endgames and the rook endgames. It's literally just checkmating patterns, but with minimal pieces on the board, which is very helpful for younger players and for less experienced players. He's got endgames 3, which are a lot of draws. So draw by agreement, repetition, stalemate, 50-move draws, insufficient material, which happens a lot. He's got attacking and defending and capturing, and he talks about piece vision, attacking, tactics, summary. And then he's got beginner strategy, so, weaknesses, spaced, closed versus open positions. And these are concepts that even intermediate players may struggle with. So if you're an intermediate player, go back and look at this. And even some advanced players, like they've got very good chess intuition, but they are lacking the basic knowledge. Like, I know this one kid that I was coaching. Like, he's fantastic. Like, he's got a higher chess.com rapid rating than me. He's like 2100. I've only just passed 1900. By the time you watch this, I might be below 1900 again. But like he misses a lot of fundamentals. So it's like, how did you get here so fast? And it's because he's just completely winning and dominates. But like getting this book is not wasted if you're below it. Yes, some of the stuff will be a lot to, and it's very basic, particularly in the beginner section. But it's really good stuff. And then in part two, he of course makes everything a little bit more complicated. He talks about intermediate openings. He gives his recommendations, and they're GothamChess recommendations. So it is the London, the Vienna, and the Alpen Sicilian. But there's nothing wrong with those openings. They're very good, and he explains them in great detail. And of course, for black, he recommends the Scandinavian, the Caro-Kann, Queen's Gambit Declined, QGD, and it's all good stuff. And then he even goes on to give some gambits for black and white. And then he talks about intermediate endgames. Now he talks about the king and pawn endgames that we've discussed, the rook endgames, knight versus bishop endgames, rook endgames. He talks about it a lot, and the queen endgame as well. And then he talks about intermediate tactics, so beginning to use the checklist that he always talks about, that most players use: checks, captures, attacks. You're looking for forcing moves. So he brings that in, and how to make a plan in the middle game. Removing the defender, zugzwang, discovered attacks, sacrifices, etc., etc. Chapter 15 is all about intermediate strategy, so pawns, bishops and knights, rooks, the queens, trading pieces, and the checklist. And then he's got the ending chapters that every book has, key terms and concepts, acknowledgements about the author, and the index. It's all good stuff. I really do recommend this book. If we're going to call it the Matthew scale, if you're in this ELO range, 9 out of 10. If you're not in this ELO range, I don't know why you get the book. Otherwise, I'll see you soon. This was really fun video concept. I hope you enjoy the book. I'm not promoting it. He's not paying me to promote it. So that's my honest opinion. I think it's a very, very good chess book. Let me know what you think about it.